Hi, Killer. How are you? How you doing, Killer?
I'm
Good
doing
talking to
good.
you.
Yeah, I tell you, man, uh, you you are the first rock star that I've ever met.
Ah, no.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
Well,
was a skinny,
tell me the story.
I was a skinny 15-year-old kid or so, 15 or 16, and you were 2 weeks off of Molly Hatchet and the Outlaws at Madison Square Garden, which I was at that
Okay.
show. And I met you 2 weeks later in New York City. It might have been the Hotel Diplomat, but it was a rock and roll flea market that I had to sneak into because the line was wrapped around two city blocks and I had about $8 in my pocket. So I snuck in a fire exit, put some cigarette ashes on my palm so they thought I paid. And I met you at the WPLJ booth with Carol
Oh
Miller.
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, I remember that station.
Uh
Sure.
huh. I think you were with Carol Miller, who was going out with Mark Goodman from MTV at
Yeah,
the
I
time.
was. Absolutely. Yeah, I was
Yeah, and you,
always.
what were you, 6'4"? I'm guessing. Uh,
I was always upset about her going out with him. No, I'm kidding.
she was a pretty woman. I
But
was a kid, but I was like, wow, that old lady's
uh,
nice.
gorgeous, gorgeous,
She
gorgeous.
really was. Yeah.
No, I'm not 6'4". I'm about 5'11", just normal height. But
Are you really?
um,
You
yeah,
seemed larger than life. But again, I was a teenager, a skinny kid,
right.
and I said to you, I said. I saw your gig with Molly Hatchet 2 weeks ago at Madison Square Garden, and I hope you don't mind me saying this. Your eyes
No,
were all glassy and you're all big to me, and you said, "Yeah, man, that was some party."
yeah, yeah. That was a great show. That was a wonderful show.
It
I
really
remember, and
was. Yeah. So
uh,
anyway, this is our second meeting.
yes, and it's a wonderful meeting as well, and great stories from that time. And I can't believe you told me
Isn't
that.
that something
So,
though?
yeah,
And I knew you'd remember the event. I knew you'd remember the booth
yeah,
and the rock and roll flea market, whatever it was.
yeah,
So that's very
absolutely.
cool,
Well,
man.
I was living in the city at that time on 58th and 6th. And so I was going to all the functions there, so on and so forth. And um, so I do remember it vividly. And I
I'm
remember
surprised you lived in
Mark
Manhattan.
lived in Manhattan for about 20 years, and
Really?
but and then back and forth between Los Angeles and Manhattan. Los Angeles mainly now for the past 40 years or so. That's where I'm talking to you from. And yeah, no, New York City is probably my favorite city and the greatest city in the world as well. And been all over the world 8 times. And Manhattan, no matter what the situation is absolutely the best.
That's fantastic. And I notice you have the new DVD just came out, right? Is it out yet?
It's out. Yeah, it's out. The Outlaws live in Germany, in Lorelei, Germany, outside of Frankfurt, about an hour and a half, 2 hours from Frankfurt. And yes, it's out. It's been out for about 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks, and it's breaking all records at this point. It's top 5 Europe across the board, Amazon in Europe, and it's picking up steam in the U.S. too.
Wow.
So
Hopefully we can
it's
be a
going
part of
well.
pushing that over, pushing that over the top.
Well, no, we've just retained you as the new press agent since you mentioned that story with Mark Goodman and Carol Miller.
Yeah, yeah. I tell
And
you, man,
we're
that Germany show was about the time I saw you, probably within 6 months. So you guys were so hot.
well, we were smoking, yeah.
Hmm.
By that time, we'd well before then. That was '81, but around 78, we picked up steam, and you saw the Garden show.
Yeah.
But we had picked up steam to be a much harder edged group. We stretched out. We became like the ultimate, no matter how the album sold, we would still sell out the Spectrum for 2 nights in Philly and Madison Square Garden and this and that, and so on and so forth. It was a pretty crazy situation. And, that we were like the miniature Grateful Dead. We had this following, but when we had our bigger albums like Ghost Riders and Bring It Back Alive and so on and so forth, it still remained the same. We just picked up steam.
Yeah.
And you kind of see it on this new DVD and CD package out of Germany, Live at Rock Palace. You see the velocity of that tenure of the Outlaws, for sure.
Well, I know, like, when I saw you and Hatchet at the Garden, you're talking 18,000 cowboy hats, right in Midtown Manhattan.
I know. It was absolutely nuts, wasn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, it was crazy. We'd get up to the Northeast and play the city, the Garden, and then we go to Boston Gardens. Then we play New Haven Coliseum, and in these great New York and New England states. That's what you would see as cowboy hats
in a non-cowboy hat neighborhood.
Go figure, right?
Yeah. But I tell you,
let's not.
You have such a history. I mean, you started with the Chambers Brothers, as I understand, and then you've done everything.
Yeah.
What did you have to do with Raging Slab? Because I remember them, and very, very hard, groovy Southern punk.
Oh, I love them so much. Those guys, Gregory, and they are on RCA Records, and they were a Bowery band, New York City Bowery band, along with another band you may know, and I'm sure you do, Circus of Power.
Oh, Circus of Power, yeah.
Both those bands came out of the Bowery and in the city. I produced some tracks for them, one for a film soundtrack, and then a live show for Westwood One at the Roxy in L.A. So I produced that. And they were just absolutely one of my favorites, way ahead of their time, of course.
Yeah. That's very cool. I had no idea.
Electrifying. They were electrifying, and we would meet for breakfast before the sessions at the Hit Factory on 54th Street, and they would be dressed in leather chaps and cowboy hats.
That's
the
funny.
New Yorkers, the Midtown New Yorkers thought they were from a movie set.
Yeah,
but
they
were genuine.
As a musician myself, I get it, but I still didn't picture you like being involved in the Circus of Power scene. You're such a Southern bred guy, and then the biker rock of Circus of Power. This is the first I'm hearing of that. That's very cool.
Well, Killer, if I can give you a little history, I was not from the South. I was born in Akron, Ohio. One of the the punk music hubs of the world.
I didn't know that.
But I left when I was 18 years old with my guitar and $500, and I moved to Los Angeles, and that's where I first met the Outlaws. But I had been a session musician for years, toured with the Chambers Brothers, then back to the sessions, then on tour as a sideman with. But then I met the Outlaws at the record plant on La Cienega and Third in West Hollywood, so to say, hinging on West Hollywood and Beverly Hills. And I met them there, and we became friends. About a year later, they called me, said, "Can you fly to Tampa and jam with us a bit?" And I said, yeah, anything to get out of here for a while. And plus, I love the band. I grew up with Duane Allman, learning slide guitar from him when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So it was a wonderful progression for me to be in a 3-guitar band, and especially guitar players like Huey Thomason and Billy Jones.
Who did you click with first? Probably Huey?
Well, both of them, really. Both were so diverse. And before then, I'd worked with so many tremendous schooled and unschooled musicians, but their vision was just natural. And it was very exciting to play with them and work with them, and then creating the 3-guitar attack, which they didn't have previously. They just had a 2-guitar attack, but we worked out some great things. It was exciting. Exciting time, and it lasted a while.
You joined on the second album, right?
Well, actually, when I met them, they were doing finishing touches on Hurry Sundown, which was the 3rd album.
Oh, that far in,
and it was 3 albums. Yeah, I joined in '77, and the first album, of course, with Greengrass was. Iconic. And the second album, so much, I don't know what happened there. And then the 3rd album, Hurry Sundown, was a tremendous album, but didn't seem to sell through. And who knows why? Could have been management, record company, promotion, this, that. You never know.
You never know. Yeah. I'm a big fan of Greengrass. And all that jazz from the early days, but it seems like you were there. It just seems to me like you were there because, what I know of the band, you're a big part of that, and of course everybody loved the Ghost Riders, and then MTV was kicking in around then, and
right.
But that's very cool. I don't mean to interrupt the flow of the conversation, but I am honored to speak with you, man. It's very cool.
Well, Killer, vice versa. Anybody that's named Killer, I'm vice versa.
Well, sure, you're like Circus of Power.
I'm glad to speak with you too, brother. I'm glad to speak with you.
Hey, you know something, man? I'm laying down some tracks. We got our 4th album coming out. On the side, after this video and stuff, we should exchange information. I'd like to get a solo from you, even if it's 4 or 8 bars, man.
No, well, let's exchange information and stay in touch for sure.
Yeah, because if it's possible, I would love to get a solo out of you, man. I'll send you a raw track, and that'd be fun. You wouldn't mind? That'd be. I don't ask people. I interview people all the time. You're just such a legend in my world.
Well, Thank you, brother. Yeah, a legend in my own mind.
I was there. I saw the way Carol Miller looked at you as she looked away from Mark.
Don't even mention her. I was after her. I was after her for 3 years.
That's why you stayed in New York for so long, right?
Well, possibly. Possibly.
That's funny.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
But definitely we'll exchange information for sure.
Yeah.
And this has absolutely been a wonderful interview.
Oh, I appreciate
right now, I'm at Universal right now in Hollywood on a film session, and
cool.
I wanted to take time out to do this interview to push this product that came out from Live in Germany, because both
we're
of my
sell
partners,
some copies of that. The Outlaws.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure this all helps. And but Billy and Huey, I wish they were alive to partake.
You know something? I'm going to change just for 1 second, because I'm going to let you go back to your business. But, one thing, and you can disagree with me, and that's cool, but I think Leonard Skinner missed the mark years ago when Huey was in the band, and now Ricky Medlock is such a presence. I think they should have went more for the genre of Southern rock. sort of like the Southern Rock All-Stars rather than be Skinner with all of these legends joining them. And you may not agree, they might not agree, but I could have seen that. Skinner should have done Greengrass. Skinner should be doing Good Morning or Wishing Well or whatever. I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a good question, and it's
I know you don't want to cause waves.
No, it's not that. It's kind of an intricate situation. With Billy was there, and Gary was there, and Leon was there, and
back when
they're all gone.
Yeah.
And Gary is the only remaining member now.
Yes.
And after all that, and the plane crash and this and that, it has to dislodge your somehow what you want to do. And Johnny, of course, has done a tremendous job to replace his brother. A big shoe, even though it's his brother, huge shoes to fill. You have to admit.
Well, I think he grew into it because when you got on like Curtis, actually, in the last couple albums, he's got John 5 in the sessions and
right.
And that's very cool. So they did come into their own, but I still could see them doing even a Johnny Van Zandt song like Who's Right or Wrong. I just could see, you know what I'm talking about? It's just such good music.
You know your stuff, brother. Johnny Van Zandt Band used to tour with the Outlaws nonstop. They were young kids. And, I can dig what you're saying. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I want all of our listeners to learn about Freddie Salem, everything Freddie Salem has done, the Outlaws live in Germany, live at Rock Palace. Buy the DVD. Buy it. Freddie Salem.
Oh, listen, Killer, thanks so much.
Yeah. We love you, man. We love you. And I can't believe that I got you on the line talking on a personal basis. Carlo, our engineer and our host, would like to ask you a question. And then I'd like to come back and just get a couple of station IDs. Is that cool?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, here comes Carlo.
Hey, Freddie, This is Carlo. Once again, I want to thank you for your time. It's an honor to have such a legendary guy like yourself on the show, one of the soldiers of the America's Guitar Army. Being that you came from a hard rock, southern rock background, what was it like working? I read through your resume. What was it like working with Barbra Streisand and Natalie Cole? Was that a big departure for you musically?
Well, as a session player and a all around musician, that's how we survived in Los Angeles in the 70s and 80s, and it was like another day at the office for us, being a union session player, and nothing personal, nothing musical. You go in and you do what they want you to do. And with the artists you mentioned, it was rare that you saw the featured star or artist in those sessions.
Yeah, and you'd see the producer and give it to him and leave.
That was it. That was it. And I wasn't even scheduled on the Barbra Streisand date. I was standing in the hallway of Columbia Studios on another session. Who knows what it was? And the producer grabbed me by the collar and said, "I need you." He pulled me in. He pulled me in, and that was 1974, and handed me an acoustic guitar and a chord sheet. And, but that's how it went then. 70s, early 70s and through the 70s, Los Angeles session scene, it was, I hate to attribute it to this, but it was like, don't tell Chrissie Hynde, it was like a puppy mill. And they would just grab you. They'd grab you out of the hallway, or if you're having a cup of coffee. Hey, what are you doing now? Well, I'm in a session in Studio C, and can you come in here and do this for me? It was so vibrant and fertile then that's what happened. And
It sounds like Steve Hunter that was grabbed for like an Aerosmith session.
Great, a great friend of mine.
Steve is a wonderful.
He and I were in the Chambers Brothers together.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the Deacon and myself were the guitar players, and he was a few years older. I learned a lot from the Deacon, and I'm still in touch with him.
Such a nice guy, man.
Wonderful guys in Spain, beautiful, the beach, and sangria, and whatever. And but still in touch with him, and but he and I were young kids in that band, the Chambers Brothers, and from there, the Deacon went to his next gig. I'll never forget when he left to the Lou Reed Rock and Roll Animal album.
Mm-hmm. Which led to everything else, Alice.
Yes. Yeah,
I can't get through an interview without talking about Alice Cooper. It's amazing.
There was nobody better, actually.
I love that guy, man. Oh, what a smart guy. What a nice guy. Probably the nicest guy in rock next to you.
Oh, thanks.
That's your first Alice comparison.
That's good. Yeah, nobody's ever done that. I appreciate that. I love Alice myself. And about a year ago, maybe a year, I saw the Hollywood Vampires at the Roxy.
Oh my goodness, so
here
good.
in Los Angeles. And it was Alice and Johnny Depp and Joe Perry and Matt Sorum, and it was tremendous.
You know something?
Wonderful.
You're a guitar player. We know that Joe Perry is great, and we know Johnny Depp is a rocker. We know, but what about that secret weapon, Tommy Henriksen?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
No,
right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. You're spot on, brother. You got a good eye.
Mm-hmm. But Freddie, I don't want to cut you off, but can you please give me a couple of station IDs, because we're going to cut them up. We're going to use them all over the station. We're going to use them at different times. Maybe. Hi, this is Freddie Salem, and you're listening to Animal House Radio.
Oh, Animal House. Yeah, absolutely. Tell me when you're ready.
I'm ready, baby.
Okay. All right, this is Freddie Salem, and you're listening to Animal House Radio.
Yes.
Rock on, y'all.
Oh, yeah. Now, if you can do one for Carlo. This is Freddie Salem. You're listening to Carlo Valerio.
Okay, very good.
Got it.
Are you ready?
Yes.
This is Freddie Salem, y'all. You're listening to Carlo Valerio on Animal House Radio.
Awesome.
Keep rocking, y'all.
Nice. And if you can do a killer one, you know what to say. This is Freddie finally hooking up with Killer after all these years. Whatever you want to say.
Okay. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. This is Freddie Salem from the Outlaws. Finally, I've hooked up with the Killer on Animal House Radio. Keep rocking, y'all.
Y'all, all right. Listen, man, is there anything I might have missed that you want to add? This is your segment.
Well, no, everything's good. The new Outlaws release on MIG out of Hanover, Germany is out. And it's a wonderful, wonderful 2 CD set of DVD and CD. And top 5 on Amazon in Europe right now. And we're trying to keep the legacy of the Outlaws alive from that time era, and we'd appreciate your business.
I tell you what, I'm ordering my copy tomorrow, no joke, and we're going to get that up to number 4 just with me. And then our listeners hopefully will pull that right to 1.
Oh, great, brother.
Yeah.
Now, listen, Killer, where should I send you my information?
Does you talk to Carlo right before our segment? Does he have your phone number?
Okay. I can give it to him right now, and then just text me everything, and I'll respond. Okay.
Fantastic. Absolutely. So that's how you get a hold of me, and we're going to talk further. One question before we hang up, because I'm looking at a picture of you holding a Telecaster. What was your guitar for all those sessions in the 70s? Did you have an Arsenal or one main humbucker lipstick type of thing?
Arsenal, for whatever the producers of the or the score masters of the session wanted. So it was basically Les Paul, Stratocaster, Telecaster, and pretty much that covers the gamut of what I needed at the time.
Fantastic. Freddie, with that, I'm going to say goodnight, and I appreciate you. And best of luck with that DVD. I saw you in that era, and I know the quality of the band.
Oh, thanks, brother. Thanks. I'm glad to talk to you. Cheers. All the best. And I'll give Carlo the phone number, and we'll go from there.
Fantastic. Hey, man, we'll talk again. And, every time you got something to promote, I'm the guy, all right?
Stay in touch.
Indeed.
I'll talk to Carlo and give him the phone number.
Great.
Okay.
Have a good night, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Killer. Thanks,
You're
brother.
welcome.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Cheers. Bye-bye.
Freddie Salem, the Outlaw.